What's happening, Blue Jays fans? I need to talk to you about something that's keeping me up at night. We just got a massive update on Kyle Tucker, and honestly, it's not the news we wanted to hear. The longer this drags on, the more nervous I'm getting. But that's not all. We've also got some under-the-radar signings that could actually be sneaky good, plus updates on Bo Bichette's situation. Stick with me because this is about to get real. Let's dive in. Before we get to the Tucker bombshell, I want to cover a couple moves the Blue Jays just made that are flying under everyone's radar. First up, Eloy Jimenez. The Blue Jays signed him to a minor league deal with a spring training invite. Now here's what makes this interesting. This guy is 29 years old, but he's shed 20 pounds since the end of last season. He's been playing in the Dominican Winter League, hitting .246 with a .324 on-base percentage, .426 slugging, 5 homers, 19 RBIs, and not bad at all. For those who don't remember, the Blue Jays actually signed Jimenez late last season, but he never appeared in a game for Toronto. Now they're bringing him back with a legitimate shot to make the roster out of spring training. And look, I know everyone's focused on the big names right now, but these are exactly the types of moves that end up mattering. Jimenez was a Rookie of the Year finalist. He won a Silver Slugger in the shortened 2020 season. He had a really solid year in 2022, a decent year in 2023. This is a guy who's shown he can hit at the major league level. The fact that he's dropped 20 pounds is huge. That could translate to better defense, better athleticism, better everything. This is a classic Ross Atkins lightning in a bottle move. No risk, all reward. If Jimenez can recapture even a fraction of what made him good a few years ago, that's a win. And honestly, these are the signings that nobody talks about in January, but end up being difference makers in August. So yeah, I'm intrigued by this one. They also signed Rafael Antigua to a minor league deal. He's an infielder, plays shortstop, 27 years old. Not as exciting as Jimenez, but still another depth piece with a spring training invite. These moves show the front office is still working, still trying to add talent at every level. Now let's get to the part that has me stressed. Late last night, 2 reports dropped that changed the entire Kyle Tucker conversation. Jim Bowden reported that a league source confirmed the 3 main teams in the Tucker negotiations are Toronto, the Dodgers, and the Mets. All 3 teams have met with Tucker either in person or over Zoom as part of the recruiting process. Bowden said it'll be interesting to see if any of these teams increase their offer soon to separate themselves from the pack. Then Pat Ragazzo came out and said the Mets met with Kyle Tucker. The meeting went well, and the Mets are cautiously optimistic about their chances in the race alongside the Dodgers and Blue Jays. Now here's why this scares me. When I said a scary reality is unfolding, I'm not saying the Blue Jays won't get Tucker. I'm not even saying they're not the favorites. But the longer this drags on, the more dangerous it gets. A month ago, the Blue Jays met with Tucker at their Florida complex. For a while, it felt like Toronto was the only serious team in the mix. But now we know for certain that the Dodgers and Mets have also met with him. And if you've been following the rumors like I have, you know Mitch Bannon recently said the Blue Jays have been really aggressive in recruiting Tucker. That's positive. But Ben Nicholson-Smith threw some cold water on the situation last week, warning that the Mets are a sneaky threat because Steve Cohen is one of the richest owners in baseball and he's not afraid to spend. Here's the nightmare scenario. Bo Bichette signs with the Red Sox after they miss out on Alex Bregman. Kyle Tucker signs with the Mets or Dodgers. Suddenly, this entire offseason feels like another swing and a miss for Toronto. We finished second in the Ohtani sweepstakes. We were top 5 for Soto. We came in second for Roki Sasaki. Yes, the Blue Jays have added some solid pieces this winter, but if there's ever a time for Ross Atkins to go out and land the big fish, it's now. He's in the final year of his contract. This is his moment to prove he can close the deal on a generational talent. I'm still confident the Blue Jays will get Tucker. I really am. But my optimism is fading a little bit every day this drags on. Meanwhile, Mets fans on Twitter are getting more and more confident. That's not a good sign for us. The fact that Tucker is taking meetings with multiple teams tells you he's genuinely weighing his options. This isn't a done deal. So let me ask you this. If the Blue Jays don't land Tucker, how do you feel about this lineup? Imagine Springer, Barger, Guerrero, Kirk, Santander, Okamoto, Varsho, Clement, and maybe Jimenez. That's still a really good lineup. You're essentially replacing Bo Bichette's bat with Okamoto's. and you're adding Santander where you had other pieces last year, it's good enough to compete. But is good enough really what we want? George Springer probably won't repeat his incredible season from last year, but Santander should be much healthier and more productive. Okamoto's ceiling is unknown, but maybe he and a healthy Santander can offset some of what we'd lose without Bo. Maybe Barger breaks out. There are a lot of variables. If the Blue Jays don't get Tucker or bring back Bo, this lineup is still solid. But do you want to be the team that did enough, or do you want to be the team that went out and got Kyle Tucker and instantly became favorites to win the American League and maybe even the World Series? That's the real question. This is a scary time to be a Blue Jays fan. The next few days are going to be huge. Let me know in the comments what you think. Are you still confident we land Tucker? Does the Jimenez signing excite you? And how would you feel about this roster if we don't add another big bat? Drop your thoughts below, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.